This video is brought to you by Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist, my new book, which is a comprehensive guide to all aspects of music theory necessary for playing rock guitar. From blues to the cycle of fifths, from understanding and using modes to choosing the right notes for a melodic solo, from pentatonic scales to chord construction and keys. It's all covered in a clear and concise manner. With accompanying video demonstrations, jam tracks and tabs, you learn to use the knowledge you gain in accessible ways that make sense for less than the cost of a few guitar lessons. Check out the link in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Today's Wednesday, which means we're dealing with a viewer's question, and that solo that you just heard there was me having a little bit of a noodle around in a pentatonic kind of way. Pentatonic based, let's call it, and that's relevant to the question we're dealing with today. But I'll just mention that if you have any comments or questions or queries of a guitar or music related nature, then get in touch. You can send me an email, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. You can leave a comment below this or any of my other videos, or you can use the contact form on my website. You can see the address at the top of the screen there, link in the description. One chap who did exactly that is called Mike, and this was his question.
Hi John, greetings from a fellow Redcar lad exiled down south. I just wanted to ask why you always break down solos in terms of pentatonic scale patterns, even when it might be more accurate to talk about major scales. Why do you always default to a pentatonic view? Isn't this just dumbing stuff down by ignoring the full major or minor scale? Hope you don't mind me asking, Mike.
It's a fair comment, I suppose. I do tend to break everything down into, a pentatonic kind of framework and then just see what needs to be modified or added from there on in. The reason I do that is because the guitar is effectively tuned to a pentatonic scale. The notes of the open strings make up the E minor or G major pentatonic. So it kind of, given that the guitar has that sort of hardwired into it, it just makes sense to kind of start from that context. At least it makes sense to me anyway. Here's a little bit of an explanation about how I'm thinking when I'm kind of noodling around between different pentatonic boxes to play over a jam track like the one you heard me using earlier.
Here is the explanation.
Right, then the chord sequence I was playing over looks like this. G, B minor, E minor, C, G, E minor, D, then C. So the theory aficionados will recognise that as being entirely contained within the key of G major, so the obvious scale to use here would be the G major scale. There it is there. We're up at the 12th fret here. The E note on the E strings is obviously the 12th fret. I forgot to put it on the diagrams, forgive me. So that's the G major scale, and it can be played like this. There we go. And ultimately that is the scale we are going to be using. But I prefer to think of it as being broken down into smaller chunks depending upon which chord we're playing over. So for instance, the first chord, the G chord, I'm going to think more in terms of this scale here, the G major pentatonic. And you can see all it is just the G major scale with the F sharp and C notes removed, just to give us a G major pentatonic that is more focused, shall we say, on the G major chord. Then when it comes to the next chord, the B minor, all I've got to do is take the G notes in this pattern here, or any pattern that you're using for the G major pentatonic, and drop them by a semitone to F sharp. And that is going to give us the B minor pentatonic. Like that. Then after I've noodled around in that shape there over the B minor chord, I just restore the F sharps to go back up to G's, and I've got the same scale we started with, the G major pentatonic, but I'm thinking of it as having the E as the root note this time, making it an E minor pentatonic. There we go. Then what's the next one? We've got, there we go, yes, I go to the C chord next, and all I've done there is to take the B notes in the E minor pentatonic and raise them by a semitone to a C, and that gives me the C major pentatonic. So all I'm doing here is just changing one note at a time, and it enables me to focus more on the individual chords I'm playing over. Let's change that C note back to a B, and that takes me back to the G major pentatonic again for the G chord at the beginning of the second line. And well, we might as well play that. There we go. Next up we've got an E minor pentatonic, exactly the same scale. Once again, we just view the E note as the root this time, and it gives us an E minor tonality. Next up we have the D chord. So once again, all I've got to do is take the G notes in this E minor pentatonic and drop them by one semitone to an F sharp, and I've got the D major pentatonic. And then the one where I've got to do the most changes in terms of the notes I'm altering, I've got to get to a C major pentatonic for that final bar for the C chord. So all I've got to do is take the F sharp notes back up to G's and take the B notes back up to C's, and there is my C major pentatonic. Like that. And well, that's basically how I'm doing it. I'm just thinking in terms of what is the pentatonic I'm going to start on, and which notes do I need to change as I move through the chord sequence. And yeah, there were times in that chord sequence where I did kind of, rather than having this scale and then this scale and kind of meeting end to end like that, then maybe be kind of doing that a little bit, blurring the lines between them, where I think on the over the beat, one of the B minor chords later on in the solo, I stayed on the G major pentatonic and added the F sharp note in. So you can make the case that there I'm kind of playing more to a totality of the notes in the scale, the G major scale, but by and large, the way I'm thinking is in terms of you know, the pentatonic that fits each chord. And it just seems to work for me. It means that I'm not kind of doing sort of noodly major scale rambly sort of stuff that can often, when I do it, feel a bit you know, directionless and rudderless. You know, if I stay focused on the individual tonality of each chord, then I seem to get better results. It also means that you train yourself to listen for the chord changes a little bit more. The backing track doesn't just become kind of a backwash of noise happening over there somewhere that kind of you're aware of, but you're not really taking much notice of other than when it starts and when it stops. So that's why I think in terms of pentatonics for the most part. Hope that's been of some use to you, and if it has, go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you'll find a full tab for that solo that we heard at the top of the video in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it, that explanation you've just seen there, and a jam track to play along with yourself. That's all up on my Patreon page. There's the address. Link in the description. $3 a month and you get access to all of these additional resources that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive, massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that, or any of the other ways, all of which are linked down in the description. If this has whetted your appetite for a little bit more of the kind of theory perhaps based tuition, then check out my new book. It's called Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist, and it covers all the kind of stuff we've been looking at today: pentatonic scales, major scales, modes, keys, everything basically, how chords are built. Basically, if it's going to be of some kind of use to a rock guitarist, you know, in helping you understand what you're doing on the fretboard, it's in that book. And as I say, a link to that is in the description down below as well. And getting a lot of good feedback about that. It's been out a few weeks now, and a lot of people are telling me that it's coming in very, very handy indeed. Maybe it'll do the same for you. But that is the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed what you've seen and found it useful and informative in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitars and whatever else crops up, basically. Great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.